Darby, thank you so much for having us back here at Hotel Verde on such a beautiful day. So, Hotel Verde is Africa's greenest hotel.
Yes, definitely, Mary. And apart from the greenery you see around you, as a sustainable business and the way in which we operate the business, we are Africa's greenest hotel.
So, as Cape Townians, we're only too aware of what it means to be resource efficient and what the drought meant to us and what load shedding means to us. And Hotel Verde has been thinking about these things for a long time now. So what does sustainability mean to you, and what are some of the things that you've been thinking about in your hotel operations?
So yes, it's definitely been a very fortunate position we've been in. So the design that went into the building back in 2012 and the completion of the building in 2013, the initiatives we added to the building from an energy renewables perspective, it's really helped us during the load shedding periods. It's assisted us to keep services running in the hotel better than perhaps other properties would have been able to. And of course, with the drought that we recently had in Cape Town, the sustainable way of looking at water resources and the allocation of resources has allowed us to be successful in the management of less and less water every month.
Fantastic. Now, some of the conversations that we've been having are around rooftop solar PV. This is something that a lot of people are thinking about. It's a new technology, it's clean energy, but quite often the upfront costs are really prohibitive for a lot of people. So I'm wondering, what were the sort of thought processes that went into that renewable energy installation?
So for us, it was really saying that it's a twofold approach. Firstly, we need to augment our energy resources and have something that can disconnect us from Eskom when we require it. So we've got about 10% of our yearly energy requirement coming from our solar panels. The second part of this was we also looked at our energy modeling for the building itself, and we determined that we would be generating a lot of excess loading or heat loading on the building. So our solar panels also serves a purpose of shading to the northern facade of the building. So the guest rooms facing north, the windows are completely in the shade from the solar panels that has been mounted on the side of the building. So both top of the building for energy generation as well as energy and then shading for solar panels on the side of the building.
Fantastic. And that sort of dual use of materials, I know that that's one of the credits in the LEED ratings, and
Definitely.
You mentioned that this building has some fantastic LEED ratings. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, Mary, we're very proud. When we opened the hotel, we received a double platinum LEED rating for both the construction phase as well as the operational phase of the hotel. And since then, although we have not tried to pursue LEED again, we have subscribed to the GBCSA Green Star initiative, and recently certified as highest rated building in South Africa on the 6-star program. So
fantastic. And so for those of you who don't know, those programs, that means world-class leadership. The other questions that I wanted to really discuss with you were around your water system. So we're in this wetland here that's obviously part of a natural water system, and the building itself has got a number of water systems. Can you run us through some of those?
Yes, so we need to understand that the building has got a lot of weight to it. So when the design phase was being completed, we determined that with our location being so close to the marshy area within Cape Town, we realized that we had to do something with the water that would be generated by the weight of the building pushing down on the soil. And the resultant of that was collecting the water, putting it through a basic filtration system, and then making that water source available for different uses. So any non-potable uses for the hotel would be secured by that water. And if you look at the wetlands, which I'm sure they'll have in the shot later, the wetlands is really our way to purify the water. So once we've used any of the ground source water on property, it flows back into the wetlands, and from there, of course, nature does its thing, magic happens, the water is clear, it's filtered again, and it goes back into our tanks. So we're very fortunate in that sense. That's where a location base has assisted us to have a technology that assists the operations at the hotel.
A lot of the interventions you've shared with me today have really high upfront costs, and I know that that's quite prohibitive for a lot of businesses and individuals. What are the sort of financial thinking, and you must have to consider a number of different elements before you make decisions on these big upfront cost items?
Definitely. It's a very complex calculation that needs to be run through, hence the fact that we've got accountants working first. But beyond the financial implications, there's also the serviceability of the product. What would the product itself be able to bring to your credentials as a sustainable business model? It's sometimes a little bit, it's a weighted question really. without going into too much detail, but we try and convince our investors that not only would he see that, or he or she see that benefit from having a renewable energy source at the building, but they would also be able to make a difference to the environment. So they are saving on coal being burnt. I mean, there's very few countries in Africa. Tanzania might actually be one of the few that has water or hydroelectric as their main driving factor. The rest of us, we burn coal. So from that perspective, making a change in the environment for the investor with a hotel that is functioning off solar, it's the right boxes to tick. It might not always be the best ROI box to tick, but it definitely is the right box for business.
And I think you, as Hotel Verde, you've also used the green credentials of your building through your marketing, and I think it's one of the reasons people come and stay in your hotel.
Definitely, that's really, really true, Mary. The interesting part of that conversation is that maybe the market itself is not yet ready, and what I mean by that is that your eco-friendly or eco-conscious traveler, they're not yet moving as much as we'd like to see them move, but I think within the next 2 to 3 years, a major contributing factor to a hotel being successful on an online platform would be their way of showcasing their sustainable credentials so that they can actually speak to that market. And yes, let's be honest, we're talking about people much younger than us that take this as a driving factor towards this is where I stay, that's the impact I want to make when I stay, and really holistically looking at the travel market. It's coming.
And one of the ways that you're showcasing the operations of the building is through this beautiful garden that we've just walked through. And one of the immediate things that you see is the water around. And Cape Town's a water scarce city, as we know, but clearly this building's working with the water environment that it's in. So can you tell us a bit more about the water features here?
Yes, Mary, we're very fortunate. The hotel is located on a natural wetlands area within Cape Town. So what we have is we've got a lot of ground source water. The building is extremely heavy. So the building is constantly pushing down on the soil and it's pushing the water up into our basement. We put the water through a basic filtration system, store it in some tanks, and then any of the non-potable uses around the property, such as irrigation, that's the water source we use. And if you look at the beautiful pool behind us, that's a completely eco pool. There's no chemicals in it. We basically rely on that ability of nature to create a mountain stream which purifies the water and keeps it clean, and the plants of course do their bit. So the process within the eco pool is mostly driven on an algae basis, but let's not get into that too deep. It's a beautiful process, but it's much more beautiful to look at. So from the wetlands perspective, any of the water that we are using ground source, we use for irrigation, for instance, it goes back into the wetlands, it gets filtrated through the magic of nature and ultimately ends itself back into our basement to run the process again. So within that, we've spoken about what nature provides this hotel. Of course, from our perspective, we've got some active technologies. So our grey water recycling plant, which takes the shower water from the rooms, filters it, cleans it, and then puts it back into our toilet system. That's really a big saving. That saves us a huge amount of water every year that we don't have to take potable water and then push it down a toilet. These are the things that's really made us successful.
Wow, so Hotel Verde is really this living factory that's got all of its processes right here for us to see. And it's been such a fantastic opportunity to hold our future energy conversations here at this hotel. Davy, thanks for having us, and I can't wait for jumping in your natural pool.
Thank you so much, Mary. We were honored.